I remember back in high school, my mom yelling at me, Jibreal, clean your room, and I just couldn't. I simply did not want to, and I did not believe that cleaning your room was useful in any shape or form. I just thought it makes things more neater and more organized, but I really did not understand how that would impact the rest of my life. So I ignored my mom yelling and continued to live in a really, really messed up room. It was pretty shitty, disorganized, books all over the place, clothes outside the cupboard, tissue paper everywhere, and wrappers of junk food and chocolates. So that was my existence. I used to live in this shithole that I called my room. And I was kind of proud of it. You know, I read this quote somewhere and I used to just spam this at people whenever they asked me to clean the room. The quote was something along the lines of, a clean house is a sign of time wasted. And I thought I was quite a philosopher and very sophisticated. Now, coincidentally, during that time, my life too was messy in the sense that my homework was always incomplete. My handwriting was shitty. Like, I used to write like a doctor, literally. I was constantly losing things or misplacing them. Like, I was searching for this particular book, I couldn't find it, spent 30 minutes looking for it. I was looking for my keys, couldn't find it. I was looking for various different things, constantly losing things. And my mother even said this, Jibreal, you spend about 50% of your time just looking for things. And that was true. Of course, it's only now that I realized that me being a messy person, or me just losing things, or me just having a chaotic life, was not coincidental. It was strongly tied to my room being messy, because the way that you do one thing often bleeds into the way that you do other things, and your environment plays a massive role in your thought process. For example, think about the cathedral effect. Like, this is well documented in psychological literature. If you are in an environment with a high ceiling, then your thoughts become more abstract, you're more creative, you look at the bigger picture, you have a bird's eye view of things. If the ceiling of the environment is kind of low, then you think of specifics, you are more concerned with the specific detail and the implementation details. So this made me realize that your environment has a massive impact on your thought process. Think about what the thought process of a person would be if he's in a disorganized space. If his house is falling apart, his clothes are outside the cupboard, his books are all scrambled up. What would his thought process be like? It would be chaotic. It would be identical to his room. Just stuff just piling off, no consistency. His thoughts would not occur in a linear fashion. They would just be chaotic and sparks coming left and right. Almost like symptoms of ADHD. And that was me. I didn't have any consistency in my thoughts. They were just random, chaotic. And I could not connect things. Because my room was such a damn mess. It pretty much indicated how my mind actually worked. It worked in a chaotic fashion. And that is why I was constantly losing things, and that is why my homework was incomplete, and that is why my handwriting was so trash. So this is the number one reason why you should clean your room. Because you're not just cleaning your room, you are reorganizing your mind, you're reorganizing your thought processes. I recently found out that if you tick something off your to-do list, then your brain releases dopamine. And this encourages you to do more things. But what if you are in a really terrible position? Like you're in the depths of hell and you absolutely do not feel like doing anything major. Like you have no energy or motivation to head to the gym and do a 1-hour session, or you have no desire to read a book. What do you do then? It's like you can't get that necessary dopamine. This is why you should clean your room once again, because it is a very simple thing to do, but it releases dopamine. You do something small, you do something that you're capable of doing, like perhaps putting the clothes back in your cupboard, or cleaning your table, or cleaning your desk, whatever it is, and that act releases dopamine. And this dopamine makes you want to do something bigger, like perhaps you actually do 10 push-ups that day, or perhaps you read 2 pages of that book that day, and that snowballs, and you want to do even bigger tasks. So even though cleaning your room might seem like something very trivial, it actually can snowball into massive, massive things. And that is reason number 2 why you should always clean your room. It gives you a much needed small victory that can snowball into something far, far bigger. Because think about it, if you are absolutely unmotivated, then any task begins to feel like a wall. Like task of just greeting someone might feel like too much of a mountain to climb. But if you can manage to just clean your room a bit, that is victory. Your brain rewards you. You get dopamine. Back when my room was dirty, I realized my self-image was pretty shitty. Like, I always had this guilt in me that, damn, cannot even clean the environment that I live in. I do not even have what it takes to clean the very spot that I stay in. And that really, really tarnished my self-image. I felt like someone who didn't have things under his control. And how are you gonna fix the world if you cannot even clean your room? All your opinions are automatically rejected. Who cares about what you think about the political spectrum of your country? Who cares about what you think about the world or how it should be run when you cannot even clean your room? You cannot even handle what's in your control. How do you think that you can dictate what the rest of the world should be doing? So when you have a disorganized room, you have a weak self-image. There's no weight behind your words. There's no belief behind your words. You know that you're a fraud. Of course, just look at you. Look at yourself, look at the room, look at the place around you. Everything that you say is a lie because all your philosophies, all your theories, they exist in a vacuum. In the real world, they do not work because your room is untidy. It's a mess. And if you cannot fix your room, if you cannot clean your room, then you cannot fix the world. And that is the third reason why you should clean your room.